All right, guys. I think we're going to get started. First of all, I'm Ryan Eckel from Diadora. Thank you so much for coming. We're so excited to be here in Flagstaff for another about 3 weeks. This is an experience that we wanted to put up for all the runners who are here in Flagstaff for the summer, and we're going to be doing group runs on Sundays here from the store at 8 a.m. We have recovery boots back there. We got nutrition. Stop by at any time, hang out, talk running. We're here for through August 15th for the next 3 weeks. And I am really, really excited today to have Jamil Coury as our guest. Before I start, though, I'd be curious, who comes from, I would say, the trail running community here? I'm trying to get a sense of the audience. Who comes from more like the track, cross country? Okay, so I think this is for me, this is super interesting because Jamil kind of crosses both. I'll let him tell his story, but in the world of trail running has been completely revolutionized over the past few years. It's exploded, and Jamil is one of the main guys, if not the guy, kind of responsible for a lot of that. So anyway, I've been excited about this conversation for a long time. Thank you for coming. So maybe let's just start with your journey. You grew up here in Phoenix. You're a runner growing up. Maybe you just start there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I grew up in Glendale, suburb of Phoenix, and I think I tried middle school cross country for one season. It didn't really stick then, and got to high school, tried out for a couple different sports teams like golf and soccer, and didn't make it. Really wanted to do a high school sport, and they didn't cut anyone from the track team, so that's how I really ended up being a runner. Is I just walked onto the track program freshman year, and then from there did cross country and track all the way through the rest of high school.
And so what got you into trail and ultra? When did that happen?
Yeah, I think I grew up in the scouting program too, so I was always kind of into the outdoors, hiking, backpacking, and even a bit of running just as a natural byproduct of being in the outdoors. And once I graduated high school, I didn't go on to run in college, so I was just kind of on my own and, tried a few different things, a triathlon, kept kind of my hiking and backpacking background, and fell in with the local trail runners in Phoenix. There's some group runs, and the Arizona Road Racers used to put on some just kind of, they call them fat ass or free trail running events. And just kind of once I got exposed to the sport of people trail running, it was an instant fit for me and just my background.
That's awesome. So you high school cross country, track, into trail, and then did you immediately go to ultras?
Pretty much, yeah. The trail running group I fell in with were also the ultra runners in Phoenix.
Okay.
And so once I found out about, heard about a 24-hour race or these longer distances, I knew that was for me right away.
Yeah, and it's one of those things I know that's 100% not for me.
Yeah. I just wanted, I can go these long distances and explore these amazing places, and I don't have to carry a backpack. This is great.
Yeah, that's amazing. So how long have you been an ultra runner? I'm trying to get a time.
Yeah, since 2005. So
okay,
it's
so
been
about
20 years. Yeah.
Good. Wow. And so the other thing about that I find really, really interesting about you is you've been able to sort of be involved in the sport both as an athlete but also as an entrepreneur. Walk me through that. When did that start? Yeah,
pretty quick. I mean, I fell in love with the sport immediately and knew that's what I wanted to do. And I just got as involved as I could. So I started volunteering at events. So I would run in races, but I would also help at races. So I would help at the aid station or help with the timing or setup or breakdown, whatever was needed. And that kind of led me into race directing. I eventually took over a race, and that set me on this path. I had always dreamed of owning my own business. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And once I was given that opportunity to direct a race, and I realized that I really enjoyed providing that experience for runners, and like pouring myself into that and just giving that experience to people. Yeah, it kind of quickly led to me taking the leap of starting like a trail running company, Aravaipa. And that was in, the first race I directed was 2008, and then Aravaipa started that in 2009.
Okay. And how many races do you have now with Aravaipa?
Oh man, we probably have like over 60 races now.
It's crazy. It's great. I mean, yeah, that boggles my mind. I mean, even just putting on one race is a ton of work, and your races aren't, and I've been involved in putting on some track races, kind of easy. That's all in a circle. Contained. What's that like? What is it like to put on a race like Cocodona, which finishes right around the corner? Like, how, I can't even imagine.
Oh yeah, I mean, the scale of it is insane. And I mean, we didn't go from nothing to putting on Cocodona. It was like the culmination of, I don't know, like a decade and a half of putting events on and scaling up, and a lot of different people and experiences. But yeah, I mean, something like that. I mean, we have someone that's basically almost two people. It's like their full-time job year round to just put that one race on, and they're coordinating hundreds, if not like 1,000 volunteers and staff, and a lot of moving parts.
And how many people, what's your staff now? How many people do you have?
We probably, like full-time and part-time, there's probably like 70 people.
So from 2009 to today, you kind of built to 60 some races, 70 people.
Yep.
You also just bought Ultra Runner Magazine? Is that
Ultra Running Magazine.
Ultra Running Magazine, okay.
Yep.
What was behind that? What was the idea?
You know, I kind of like early in my career, it was like a pretty foundational magazine or piece of literature for me that I read. Like I would go and camp out and stay up in Silverton, Colorado for the Hard Rock 100. They used to have, it's kind of like a camp, like Camp Hard Rock they call it, where you mark the trail and do trail work. And I was staying at one of the guys' houses, and he had just had like boxes and boxes of Ultra Running Magazine in black and white. And so just thumbing through that, reading the stories over the years. And the publisher came to me like a year ago and was like, I'm ready to kind of pass this on to someone. And it's like hard for me to say no to an opportunity like that, to keep that magazine going, and something in print that I think is so important for the sport.
Yeah, and print's a tough business too these days. Yeah, that's a huge challenge. That's cool. And now you've got a little media empire. You have a production company as well, right? You have
we have something called Mountain Outpost, and we have like a YouTube channel, and we've started doing a lot of live streams of trail and ultra running events. So we started really ramping that up about 4 or 5 years ago, and now we put on about 20 live streams per year. We just came off a pretty big stretch of Broken Arrow, Western States, Hard Rock, and High Lonesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just another way to kind of give back to the sport, and again, bring the sport that I love, that so many of us love so much. We can like bring it to new eyeballs, or just share it with the community at large. Like not everyone can go spectate at all these events and take part in person.
Yeah.
And so like bringing it to people is really rewarding.
It's so you kind of got on my radar. So I run trails exclusively, almost exclusively. I ran cross country, I love running trails, but I never followed the sport. Because it's like, how do you follow trail? Like I just didn't know, how do you follow trail running? And then, I don't know, we had a team meeting, and in the corner, there's a couple people from the company like on their phones, like watching something. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, oh, this is crazy. And so then I'm like, that's interesting. Like you're able to cover, like you're able to people to, you figured out how to actually tell stories around these things. And in an age where it's all like quick hit content, TikTok videos, you've been able to figure out how to produce that, which I've dabbled in that a little bit too. And it's like, that can't be easy. And get the attention of people for more than like 15 seconds to watch something that unfolds over days. Like, I'm fascinated by this because in the track and field world, which I've been involved in for most of my career, everybody is like, we got to change track. We have to improve track and field. We have to make the fan experience better. We have to change the format. Meets are too long. Blah, 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 blah. And then they try, and it never really works. You did it in the hardest environments possible. Maybe you could talk a little bit about what goes into that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I can fully explain like the fascination with something like Cocodona. Because it still seems kind of wild that people will watch something for 5 days where it's like very slow moving.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, there is this fascination with like knowing that people are still out there and they're doing this epic journey and like following along with it. I think is just a natural human inclination to like see what's happening out there and to want to be part of the journey.
How did you get the idea though to like, I'm gonna go try to stream this in the wilderness. I'm gonna go try to figure out how to cover that.
I mean, I think, part of it, seeing what like UTMB was doing over in Europe, like I think they are probably the true pioneers of like this format. But for us, I think it was kind of during the pandemic, like what pushed us over the edge was Black Canyon, which is a golden ticket race for Western States 100, like the top couple people win their entry in there. And in 2021, we're working through all the permitting with all the restrictions, and we were able to host the race. We couldn't have any spectators for like the first 50 miles in Yavapai County. And to me, that wasn't acceptable. Like we needed to bring the race so that people could watch it.
Did you at that point, though, did you have an inkling that like this could be a spectator sport?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I was interested in it.
Okay.
And so, like the technology was kind of still catching up though, and we were able to figure out a few things at just the right time. And then ever since then, it's just been like a very quick, like jump and leap forward with Starlink and everything that's happening there. It's like as soon as like new technology comes on board, we just adopt it and like add it to our workflow. And it's just been this like amazing integration.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's like in business school, like if that was like in business school, they would have told you that would never work. There's no audience for it. There's can't be done, technologically like expensive, and all the successful stories I've ever heard from entrepreneurs are like, I just built it for myself. Like I wanted this and it wasn't there.
Well, there's certainly like no money in it. Like no one was paying for this or asking for it. Like the races didn't have money, so we just did it anyways, basically. Yeah. And like fortunately, we could justify it at our own races first, and then we just kind of were like, well, what are the important races that we think should be streamed? And like, let's try and make it happen any way we can, at whatever level we can.
What was the first one you streamed?
Like that wasn't ours? We did Black Canyon, our own Black Canyon.
What was the first one where you're trying to get like a feed from remote areas to people on the internet?
We did Desert Solstice for a couple years before that. Which is a track race in Phoenix. So that we did start it with a track race. But then Black Canyon 2021 was the first one where it was like we had runner cams and bike cams and aid station cams and drones, and like that was kind of, I think, a revolutionary moment. People didn't really know it was coming. We didn't promise anything because we didn't know if it would work. So we just like made a plan, put it into place. Matt was here for it. And we just went for it, and people were like, what is this?
Yeah. And
like they start watching and they're like, whoa, there's actually this is nonstop. This is going, and it was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so the content piece was like the one piece where I kind of like came into my my orbit. The other was this thing, this Chipotle challenge, which you were wearing one of our hats. And somebody's like, oh my God, you gotta watch, like this is wild. Can you explain the Chipotle challenge?
Normalized high
mileage hat. Can you explain the Chipotle challenge? Because I don't even know that I kind of could explain it.
Yeah, so last January in 2024, Chipotle teamed up with Strava and had this challenge. You win a year's worth of Chipotle burritos if you become the local legend of a segment in these 6 different cities around the country. And it was like a 2-block segment near a restaurant in like Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., a couple other cities. And I read this article because it got pretty out of hand, like towards the end of this challenge. Like these couple guys were battling back and forth, and I think the last day they did like, 40 or 50 miles to like one up each other to like win these burritos, And
all for the burrito.
I was like, I read this article, I think it was like January 1st of this year, about last year's challenge, and they announced they were doing it again, but in 25 cities, including Tempe, which is pretty close to where I live. And I was like, well, this sounds perfect for me. Like, I'm an ultra runner, I'm crazy, I like burritos. So I was like, kind of reading about their strategies from last year, like if I can build up enough of a lead in the first like week of the challenge, like I can probably just coast to a win and like win this thing.
Just to like just set the throw
just
it out
like,
there.
Yeah,
be like,
run as much as you can, get
just to
ahead. If you
intimidate
see people that are
everybody,
like
they're not
jumping
gonna-
in, just I'll already have like a 10 or 20 mile lead and they'll never be able to catch me.
Yeah.
It turns out that, so I showed up, I think on like the third or fourth day of the challenge, started running, wasn't really anyone, and then like, I don't know, a few days in, this guy Kevin shows up.
Like challenge accepted.
He had won the Los Angeles segment last year.
Okay.
He like tied with 4 other people. They like figured out this loophole. But he lives in his van, and he was like staying in Arizona because he's training for Cocodona. And so he started showing up, and he knew how good the prize was because he'd been enjoying those burritos all year. And so he just kind of starts showing up on the radar, and then, it just kind of escalated over the course of the next few weeks. And we start trading like 20-mile days, and then it was like, I did a marathon, he does 27 miles, then I do 30, and then very quickly we're doing like 35, 40, 50-mile days. And at the end, it was like this gloves off battle back and forth, and it came down to like the very end. I did like 130 miles in the last 40 hours to win.
Good Lord. Yeah, it's and so you've been enjoying burritos for a year.
Yeah, for a few months. Yeah.
That's incredible. Did you know it was going to like become a thing, like this sort of social media thing?
I mean, I didn't really post much about it until like the last 2 weeks, and then I started putting out some YouTube videos and posting on.
It was truly all for the burritos. It wasn't for the social media content at first.
I mean, at the end of the day, to me, it was all about the competition. Like, I didn't care about the burritos or the social media. Like, I legitimately just wanted to win the competition and beat him, and that's what consumed my obsession. Was like, how do I beat Kevin?
Yeah.
And it made it a lot of fun.
Yeah. Was he going back and forth on social media with you?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it really felt like a war. It was, I don't know. I was looking up like tactics of battle and like how to use psychological warfare against him. And there really was psychological warfare used.
Yeah.
Like in the last few days.
Give me an example.
Man, over the final night, we didn't know really where each other were going, like, until we did the final upload, because we like lost track. So we didn't, and we were so close. But I had a couple crew guys come out overnight, and the segment that we were on happens to have a motel that's like on the segment. So I booked a room without him knowing. Checked in. They were crewing me all night long without him knowing. And my crew was telling me to like start hobbling and look weak overnight so that he would like go to bed and sleep in his van, because he had a lead going into the final day. And like, so I started hobbling around and pretending like I was tired, and he went to bed for like 4 hours that night. And every time I was out of sight of the van, I was like starting to run faster again.
Amazing. Would you guys see each other on the segment? Were you ever on the segment at the same time? All
Constantly, because it's back. It's like an out and back.
Okay.
So you're constantly like staring at each other the whole time.
That's amazing. So so trail running, ultras, they've had this crazy explosion. Now we're seeing, you're seeing people who are kind of coming from like track pedigrees and stuff come into the sport now too. What do you think's next? Where does it go?
Oh man, great question. I don't know. I mean, I think that, yeah, we are seeing like kind of a professionalization of it right now, and which I think is really exciting. We're seeing people of all different backgrounds joining into the sport. So I think we'll probably see more and more of that, people that are devoting themselves like full-time athletes to the space. I think we're seeing a lot of, more and more brands getting involved. There's more focus on nutrition and recovery and training, and it's an exciting time.
Do you think that is there, I don't know, I see some stuff around the soul of the sport is being sold out at UTMB, and because of all the brands that are jumping in. What's your take on that?
I mean, it's certainly changing. I feel like I have an interesting perspective because I feel like I have like one foot in like the old school world, because that's where like what I was brought up in. It's like, and there's been a few waves of like popularization. Like, I mean, it's pretty old now, but there was this book by Dean Karnazes called Ultramarathon Man that I think was at the time like a turning point, like 2005. And then there was Born to Run, which had kind of a whole big effect. And now there's like maybe new waves of things happening. So I think people that want it to stay old school, like there are still events like that. They're still out there. They're still kind of low key and old school. But I think also there's like a new exciting wave of like the live streaming and everything like that. So I think it's like important that we don't lose where we came from, but also I think it's important that we embrace some of the future too.
Yeah, I guess it's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
That you have all this interest in it now, and there's...
Yeah, like I think there could still be like old school things that happen, and there can also be like modernization as well. Yeah, and it's great for athletes and people who want to start a business around the sport to be able to kind of have a living in it and kind of be part of the rise of it. That's really cool. But you're still competing as an athlete too, are you? Yeah. Not training as much as I'd like, which is typical these days, but like I try and run a handful of ultras every year. I just came off doing a couple, so.
Which ones?
I did Western States and Hard Rock.
Okay. How far apart are those in terms of how many days?
This year it was like 13 days apart.
Cool. So the people who Western, they're both like, those are both 100-mile. They're both 100, right? They're 100, and they're probably two of the toughest 100-milers in the world. That's crazy.
Very different. Western States is like a very runnable, like hot race, and then Hard Rock is super high altitude with a ton of climbing.
Good. Oh, wow. How do you find the time to balance? Like, I mean, I think half of this audience they're students, and they're out here in Flagstaff for the summer because they're trying to have rip in cross country this fall, but then they also have to go and get good grades in class. How do you balance both competing and running a business?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to prioritize things. Like, I have a family too, so that's another factor as you get older and are aging up through everything. So it becomes a lot of things to juggle. And I mean, in January during the Chipotle thing, I had to let everything else go and just only run, which was for me a ton of fun. I was having the time of my life, just running back and forth on a 2-block segment, but I don't get to do that as much anymore. Yeah. So it was just pure running indulgence. So if you're young and you have the time to run in Flagstaff all summer, soak it up and enjoy the fact that you can do that. But I think it's also just how you prioritize things. So you got to find what works for your lifestyle, whether that's run commuting or running on the treadmill when you can, or, I don't know, going to the gym, whatever it is.
How do you do it? What's your hack?
It's probably treadmill time. Me owning my own business, what I started to do a bit was block out time. For me, the first part of my day, I have flexibility where it's the first 2 hours of my day is running, and that's I can take calls on that time if I have to, but that's my time, and then I can get into the rest of my work day after that.
What time do you wake up? What's your daily schedule?
It's probably like 6 or 6:30.
Okay.
I usually don't get
human.
up to do a run before like taking kids to school, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. It's no, I mean it's cool. It's like this is I was hoping it's a great. I'm glad that we have this really kind of mixed audience because I think it's been for me. It's been really cool to see you kind of forge a kind of shape how the sport is, where the future of the sport through entrepreneurship, innovation, still being an athlete, using social media in a really kind of like in a way that connects with people. I think it's really cool. There's a lot of in this industry. There's a lot of different paths, and the ones that get me excited are the ones that bring like freshness to it. So anyway, I think that's cool. I just want to be like, I wish I was, as a marketing guy, I wish I was in the Chipotle Strava in the meeting room when somebody proposed that to like
that was
Strava.
Genius
What's
idea.
Strava?
I mean, they could go all in on it and it would be amazing.
Yeah.
We've got some big ideas, but I don't know if they'll listen to me. Who knows?
Maybe this is a good time to stop and just take some questions from the audience.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So it's more from the thinking about the race director side and the creative side of that, because it's a little kid staring at maps. You probably have all these ideas for courses and things like this. So how do you scout a new course you want to do? Like, what are the steps to bring that to life? And are there things and the challenges involved? And are there do you have a dream thing that you want to do, but it's hard because of permitting, insurance, the financials of it? So it's kind of two questions in one.
Yeah, I think, I probably growing up in scouting and stuff, I was obsessed with maps and mountain ranges and different things. So I think that was for me is getting maps out. And then now there's all these amazing online tools. So I think when I'm scouting a course or a route, it is, let's pull out the maps, or let's go use Trailforks, or Strava has a lot of amazing resources now, and real-time data. You can see what routes people are running and kind of piece together a lot of different things. I use Caltopo a lot too. So I think number one, when designing a new course, it's I try and map it first, and then that's the fun part is let's go scout it and let's see what it looks like. And that's a big part of the journey.
How long does that take? How long does it that whole process to map out a course, scout it?
It really just depends. It could take months to years depending on the course. So yeah, sometimes I've had dreams for races and it takes many years for it to come to fruition. Yeah. Sometimes the trails aren't done yet, or all kinds of factors.
Yeah.
One of my biggest dreams was Cocodona, and that one has come to fruition, which is really cool. I don't know if I have anything burning right now, but it's always dreams out there.
It's got to be cool to have a dream for a race and then see it not just come to fruition, but see it become this phenomenon that
totally
stopping people in Diadora meetings to watch it. So
yeah, exactly.
Who else has a question? Yeah.
How many miles did you run in that month?
I think it was 735.
What?
And the last 7-day
this
stretch
segment
was 358.
There needs to be a plaque put there, just commemorating that block, that stretch.
A commemorative brick, because
Brick
most of
in the
it
shape
was
of a-
brick cobblestone street
God.
too. It was kind of crazy.
In the shape of a burrito.
Was that the highest mileage of any of the cities, or were there other cities that did that?
I think Kevin and I did the most out of any of the other winners of any of the cities. And there was this group competition too of running clubs could come, anyone who shows up. I think we were second to San Francisco. So
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, who else has a question? Yeah.
So in terms of the future of trail running, ultra running, there are more untraditional kind of races that are coming up, FKTs, and then backyard, last man standing.
Yep.
Where do you see that? Do you see that? Because I've been seeing more elite runners I was tweeting Instagram with FKTs.
Yep.
Do you think there's gonna be a boom in the next few years and fitting in somewhere else?
Yeah, I think there's there's like so much going on in the sport. It's like super exciting, and it's almost like multiple sports. It's not just one thing. There's like even the short distance, like the Golden Trail series with the sky running stuff. Like there's a lot going on there. Like people are they're going like fast and technical, and then there's also people, they want to see like how far can I push myself. Like it almost gets scary sometimes, to be honest. Like it feels like people are like going until they're gonna collapse, and then like trying to go even more. But like the backyard and like how that's taken off is also like pretty shocking and eye-opening. And then
Do people know what that is? I just want to maybe stop it.
Yeah.
Did anybody know the backyard?
So like Backyard Ultra is also like a last person standing, and it's this format that was created by Lazarus Lake, the same guy that created like the Barkley Marathons and Vol State and these other races. Basically, you do this loop or this course that's 4.1667 miles. The whole entire field starts, they have to complete that loop in 1 hour, and then they start again the next hour and like on the hour, and they see how many hours they can go. And it's that distance because every 24 hours you would cover 100 miles exactly. And so he started this maybe like, 12 or 15 years ago, like in his backyard property in Tennessee, and it's grown to this like global league where people have like created courses around the world.
Wow.
He's got a championship, and I think the current record is like, it's almost 500 miles now, so it's like 4 something days. Yeah, I don't know.
Good luck. Yeah, oh my God.
And then yeah, like the FKT, like the fastest known time, these are like long distance trail efforts where it's not a sanctioned race, but it might be like the Pacific Crest Trail or the Arizona Trail. And that's evolved to the point where people are getting like this insane level of support. There's like all these record attempts this summer where people are like fully have a support team. Like they're carrying their water bottles and their food. So like the actual athlete is just like jogging along or hiking with carrying nothing. And they have like these people muling all their supplies. And so like that's being taken, everything's kind of going to the extreme right now.
Was that a thing before COVID? COVID was the first time I remember hearing much about FKTs.
It's been a thing for a couple decades, but again, kind of underground, low profile. Like people just wanted to keep track of like how fast has someone done this trail. And there was like a website that was keeping track of this, but it has kind of evolved into its own sport now.
So if FKT stands for fastest known time, you guys probably know that, but in case you don't. You had a question?
You said you had 60 races, right? All of them are in the US or also in Europe?
We're just based in the US, but we're in like 6 different states.
Do you plan to go to Europe or?
Not at this point in time. Yeah, we never know, but we'll see.
Any other questions? No? Going once?
Got one.
Oh, yep.
there.
How do you like approach your fueling for these like 100-mile races?
Yeah, great question. I would say I'm probably not the best at it, but
Burritos.
like, yeah,
Just
burritos.
burritos.
I've had some success with like mashed potato burritos, like, but I mean, in these long distance efforts, depending on like how fast you're going, like you're gonna at some point consume like real food, which they have a lot of that at the aid stations. But like I've been using a lot of Never Second personally lately, which has been working well for me. So like gels and drink mixes. So yeah, I'm just trying to like keep the drip going the best I can, and yeah.
Do you have like a calorie intake that you need to, like per hour, that you know that you need to hit?
Probably shoot for like, oh man, I don't know. I don't have
You
that.
don't. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Probably need a nutritionist or something.
So
You had a
doing-
follow-up?
Have you seen the stuff that David Roach has been doing? Like, I think he's like saying he's taking like 180 grams of carbs an hour, like 160 grams.
Totally. I know there's a lot of people doing like higher carb fueling these days. I probably maybe shoot for like 100 plus or minus for myself. But I'm probably not going as fast as the like top tier athletes these days. So like they probably need more than me.
Awesome. Yeah.
He had another follow-up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. We'll let him follow up.
Are you doing any heat training?
I was doing some heat training before Western States. Fortunately, living in Phoenix, like got a treadmill in the garage, and it was like easily like 109, 110 in the garage. Just so I'd throw a sweatshirt on and just do like an hour at a time. And then it's like cooling during race day is like super important. So like at Western States, it was like the vest I was wearing had like a open pocket in the back. So like every aid station, just have them scoop ice into the back of my vest in lieu of an ice bandana. And then I carried like an extra water bottle with ice water in it just to like keep dumping on my head and my arms just for topical cooling. And I think it's like, if you can just keep your body wet, your body doesn't have to work and like sweat it back out.
Yeah.
And it can conserve that like water to use internally.
How hot did it get at Western States this year?
I think it was like 95 to upper 90s, like in the canyons in the heat of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite race you've done? Like out of the ultra marathons?
Probably I love Hard Rock a lot, and then Barkley is probably my favorite.
I'm gonna guess that there's some people here, probably a significant number, that don't know Barkley Marathons. Has anyone not heard of them? There's a bunch, yeah. Why don't you explain it? Because it's an interesting concept.
I'm like an encyclopedia for like this stuff.
What's that?
I'm like an encyclopedia for ultra race stuff. Okay, let's see, where do we start? So Barkley Marathons is this event in Tennessee, and it is like, there's been like maybe like 20 finishers in like 40-year history of the race. It is an unmarked loop at Frozen Head State Park. And one loop they say is 20 miles. It's probably more like 25 to 26 miles, but it's unmarked. You're going cross country through the woods, up and down mountain slopes. So it's kind of like the ultimate test of self-sufficiency and navigation, like while trying to make this loop. And you have to do 5 loops to become a finisher of the race. Within 60 hours. Yeah. And it has like 13 or 14,000 feet of climbing per lap. So it's kind of like taking everything to the logical extreme of a 100-mile race.
How do you get into the race? Because that's something kind of
it's
weird.
Extremely limited. There's like 40 slots available. You have to write an essay to the race director, like why I should be allowed to run this race. To prove that you made the loop, he hides 13 or 14 books on the loop that you have to find, and you have to tear out a page that corresponds with your bib number for that loop. And you get a new bib number for each lap you go out on. It's like all these weird things, but it's all the things that I love. Like I love navigating and extreme amount of climbing, and there's usually really crazy weather, so it's like really muddy and
what time of year
sliding
is it?
around. It's like mid-March.
Yeah.
So it's like it could be snow or heat or rain,
and you don't know the start time, right? The guy just decides.
Yeah, there's like
blows a horn.
There's like a 12-hour window when it could start, so everyone has to camp like in the campsite. And he gives you a 1-hour advanced warning. So it's like you're on nerves the whole night. Like, is he gonna wake us up at 2 a.m. to start this race in the rain? So like I've never finished the race. I've attempted it 6 times. And like I've finished almost every other race I've ever started in my career. So it's like, that to me is very appealing. It's like, you're gonna create something so hard that I can't complete it. Like I wanna keep coming back. It's like, I've made it 4 loops, but over the cutoff.
Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna try again?
I keep applying, yeah.
Yeah, he keeps letting you in.
I've actually not been in a few years, but I hope to get back.
Okay. Yeah, there's a great documentary. I think it might be on Netflix about it. The race director is like the quirkiest dude ever, and it's It's wild. It's
He
everybody-
lights a cigarette to start the race.
Yeah,
It's like very,
it's completely insane.
very weird.
It's completely insane. Cool.
What was your essay about?
My essay, it's always like pretty straightforward, like just kind of listing my accomplishments and like why I want to do it. Like I've never DNF'd a race before. And I had like some early success at the race, so I kind of got to keep coming back. But lately it's like there's a lot of really amazing athletes from around the world that keep applying.
Awesome. Yeah.
Do you have like a particular like game that you play in your head while you're running?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, what do you think about when you?
I mean, all kinds of different games for sure. I mean, a lot of times, like if I'm really suffering, it's just like, how do I get to the next aid station? It's like what I think about. Like, I think it can be easy to quit when you're like in a really low point, especially if you're at an aid station where you have crew support or like there's an easy out. So like I'll trick myself, like not let myself quit at a certain aid station, like just get right back out there. Those are some of the things I do. Yeah.
Has a bear or mountain lion ever stopped you in your tracks during the race?
Not me personally.
What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you on the race course?
Oh man.
Or scariest, or I don't know, most unexpected?
I don't know if I can think of anything offhand.
What's
I mean, like I've had maybe some crazy storms out at Barkley before where I've like gotten turned around in the fog and like went off the wrong side of a mountain where I was expecting the river to be flowing like downstream one way and it was like flowing the opposite way, like trying to figure out where I am.
Yeah. That's good. And then at that point, you don't have any navigation tool. Who do you have with you to navigate?
You have a compass and a map.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, you're not allowed to carry like a
Old school.
GPS watch or a
Yeah.
phone or anything.
Cool. Yeah.
I know in the Tour de France, the guys like kind of undertrain because like throughout the month, like you gain fitness and like you're working so hard. Do they do the same thing like in ultra races or?
I think for ultra races, most people probably don't do that unless you're me, and I don't recommend it. But I think there like is a real thing of people doing like the long distance trails where they would maybe go in a bit undertrained, knowing that they're gonna gain fitness in like the first week or two of a big effort like that. And they might actually want to be a little undertrained or like, yeah, maybe even like pack on a few pounds because like maybe better to be undertrained than injured going into it. And like the caloric deficit they're gonna be in at some point is gonna be insane.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
What was your first ultra running experience like?
Yeah, my first one was on a fixed time event. So it was a 12-hour night run on a 500-meter looped course. And it was like a training run for a 24-hour race. So it was completely flat. I did it with my two younger brothers. We didn't really know what the heck we were doing. I had run one marathon before. I think they had each run one half marathon before. We all did around 50 miles. And we just tried to learn as much as we could from the other people running the race. And it was really cool because there's a lot of way more experienced people than us that were on this same loop. So we're able to interact with them, and they were like teaching us like, oh, do a run walk strategy, and like, this is how you fuel for an event like this. And I mean, it was fun enough that we came back and I'm still here.
I did a few more
Yeah.
after that. Yeah.
What is your injury history and like how do you get to where you're running 350 miles?
That's a great question. I think in like my early years of running ultras, like I probably had just about every injury short of like a stress fracture, like IT band, foot neuroma, runner's knee, like all kinds of different things. It was probably from like not training enough and just like going out and doing these things. So I mean, for me now, I think I have like so much of a base over like 20 or 30 years of activity that like I think I'm just like pretty robust at this point where yeah, like I just kind of got up off the couch in January and like trained into like an insane month. And I mean, I was pretty messed up after that month. Like I definitely did not come out unscathed. Like I think I couldn't put one of my shoes on for like 9 days after that. But I think like, just like anything, you've got to like build into it. Yeah, like probably don't go straight and do that.
Do you have any races that, like, do you have a bucket list of races or experiences that you wanna check off?
I mean, I've checked off a lot,
You've done them all?
like in my years. So like, there's not as much of a burning desire anymore. But yeah, I think like there's a few like international races I would love to do. There's one called Diagonal de Fou on Reunion Island that looks really cool. And then there's like a 200-mile race in Italy called Tour de Jante that looks really amazing and really hard.
Well, happy to host you when you're in Italy. But
Yeah,
come on
awesome,
over.
perfect, yeah.
Anything else? Yeah.
Do you mind sharing about your first DNF and like how you made that decision?
I mean, like I've DNF'd all of my Barkley attempts, but that may or may not count since basically everyone does. But really, like I think like my one real DNF was at the Mogollon Monster, I think in 2021. And I think it was in large part because I just got a bit greedy. Like I had done a ton of races that summer. I'd just done UTMB like 10 days before and thought I could get one more 100-miler in, and my IT band flared up and I was like walking at like cutoff pace around the 100K mark, and I just like kind of lost all motivation. So, I mean, I think sometimes it's warranted. But yeah, like my mantra is like, if I'm not like, I don't know, extremely injured and I have like time on the clock, I'm going to keep moving forward until they pull me off the course.
That's awesome. Yep.
Who's your favorite runner?
Favorite runner? Oh man, that's a great question. Man. Oh,
How about who? Or if you think of one, but maybe I'll just sort of like expand that. Like, who inspires you?
Yeah, I mean, I've had like so many different inspirations over the years from like, I mean, a lot of my early inspiration was like people that would run like Hard Rock or Barkley, like, I don't know, Andrew Thompson, Jonathan Basham. Like I would read those guys' race reports about the Barkley Marathons and just get super inspired. I mean, I'm definitely inspired by people like Courtney Dauwalter and Katie Scheid doing amazing things these days. Yeah, I don't know. Big fan of like, I don't know, Max Jolliffe is an up-and-comer that I think is super cool these days. I love seeing like Dan Green crush it at Cocodona and Rachel Entrekin. So just always fan of new people in the sport.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I got something for you. So,
Yeah.
So clearly you're a fierce competitor, right?
At times, yeah.
I can relate to that. Your thought process is what I'm curious about, and obviously you didn't get here overnight. If you could go back to when you're a young pup, coming to high school, after college, trying to reach goals, not hitting goals, what would you have done differently? What could you tell yourself back then to change? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I probably would have like taken a more like measured, consistent approach to my training like over time, and like have a longer term view. It's like I think I could be so short-sighted at times, like looking ahead to the next race, like it's a couple months away, instead of like, how do I become a better athlete over the coming years? Because like that's like that compounding effect, I think, is what makes the difference between like the biggest champions that we see today in the sport, especially, probably of any distance, is like they're just very consistent over many years.
I think that applies to like everything in running too, not just like the ultra scene. I think it's like we see it in you know, like track and cross country, and it's just that consistency, and just like it's a sport that it's so easy to kind of get caught up in like the thing that's right in front of you versus like the long-term development, but it's cumulative, and yeah, that was a great point. Did you had a question there?
Yeah. It was really cool to hear you talk about the magazine. I think like Mountain Outpost, you know, a lot of focus on like those elite, you know, top tier runners. So you're kind of like feeding both groups, like the grassroots community and like the everyday runner, but also this focus on like the elite runners. What's that balance like, kind of getting the coverage and just all of that kind of for?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think you hear that a lot. Like, people are like, well, what about the rest of the runners, you know? But it's tough because so much of the attention is like on the well-known runners, or like these days now we have like influencers out there, and like they seem to get all the attention. But I think the sport like needs that balance, and so we try and do our best we can. Like, yeah, like you're gonna get the most views while the elites are racing, and that coverage, and you know, balancing the men's and women's is also extremely important these days. But also like sticking around for like your everyday runner, and like those stories can be just as inspirational, and like the final runners as well. Like we do a lot of like golden hour coverage too, so yeah, it's all important, I think.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about like what role like content creation has played in like your personal journey as a trail runner, and maybe how that's influenced you in leading like a content first or media first approach towards like moving the sport of trail running forward?
Yeah, I mean, like just along this journey of like being a runner and race director and kind of content creator too, like I've felt compelled for whatever reason to share my running journey along the way. So, you know, I've done like YouTube videos for a bunch of years, or like sharing stuff on social media. And I think like that's been pretty instrumental looking back on it in like the success of Aravaipa, which is our race directing company, and just me as a runner as well. But it's always really been driven by, I think, wanting to just inspire people or share my experience with others along the way. But I think it's been like pretty important in like growing everything that I've done in business.
Yep.
What were your high school PRs?
Oh man, okay. I think it was like, I don't think it was very fast, like 5:12 in the mile and like 2:11 800. I'm trying to think what else.
Yeah.
2 mile, I don't even remember. I mostly did the mile and the 800.
Okay, yeah. Which what sort of pace would you be able to hold for 100 miles if it was on, let's say, on a track?
100 miles, oh God. Probably not good. I mean, I could probably like beat a 5:12 now.
Okay.
Like if I trained for like a few weeks or something.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I wasn't very good in my opinion in high school, and like it's kind of funny, I guess. Like maybe I wish I applied myself more back then, like knowing how important running is become in my life, like, or like eating better or something. Like I think I threw up after every 800 meter race I did in high school.
That's because the 800 is like the hard. I mean,
Well, it's
no,
also the
besides
hardest.
it's like the hardest of the race on the track.
Yeah.
I mean, but everybody has their own journey into the sport.
Yeah.
Some people just sort of come to it later. Some people come to, decide at a later point that they want to. I mean, to me, that's the cool thing about it. Like, it's, if you're a football player, you can't find a path in it. It's hard to if you're, outside, or you can't continue into adulthood. But you can kind of, you can kind of go at your own pace and running literally and get into it, you know, at kind of commit at any point and make it what you want. Anybody else? Well, thanks so much for coming. If it's okay, I mean, I don't know if you need to go, but if you stick around and people can come up and talk to you and ask you questions. And I think we have, is that here we
Wildfire alert?
Yeah, I don't know. Do we need to evacuate? I think we have drinks somewhere if people want. I think we have coolers out. Where are they? Out in the okay, by the door. If people want to grab a beverage and hang out and chat. But thank you so much. This was great. I learned a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks everybody for coming. We're going to be doing these the next couple of Wednesdays. We have a couple more interesting guests. We have Riley Mason, who's the head coach of MIT, which he's a young guy. He's won 5 NCAA titles in 5 years of coaching, and this is a program that had never done much historically. So he's figured out, talk about balancing running with other things. He's figured out how to do that at MIT. And then in 2 weeks we have Marco Langen, who's a Villanova runner. He's a Diadora athlete. He's racing at the USA Championships in the 5K. He's one of the most exciting guys on the scene right now, and he'll be. I guarantee you, he will be an interesting personality to have talk to you guys. So join us Sundays 8 a.m. for group runs. We have students guys from the NAU team leading us on some local routes that they run. And thanks everybody for coming. It's been fun.